You know, it's been a year of excitement, to be honest with you. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, like, look at this place. I mean, it's beautiful, pristine mountains. The Marathon. Are you kidding me? What I really kind of, you know, as I started to become acclimatized to the institution, it was, you know, hit the ground running, get on the road, get recruiting, and that probably lasted for a good 3 weeks. And you know, you try to identify high-end kids. You know, you're making phone calls, you're really working the phones, trying to garner interest. Obviously, we're a brand new program, and then you start to try to structure to, okay, well, when can we start getting these young men up on campus? And as I started to roll each recruit through campus, what I started to and kind of understood, but now you get to experiences of just, you know, the type of place that this is. Family-oriented, relationship-based, you know, willing to help, gracious, hold the door open, you know, I thought it was that way, but then I actually personally got to experience it, and so that was a big thing. So you kind of feel comfortable. You start to know the people, like they actually really care. I started getting and started to have the opportunity to meet and talk with some of the old school alumni guys from back in the 80s and the 90s. Started cultivating a little bit of a relationship, and there's so many more alums that I still need to reach out to, but and then you start to get a sense of what lacrosse was here, you know, back in the 80s and in the 90s when it was an NCAA sport. You know, then it was a function now of, okay, well, we need to bring on a coaching staff. You know, hire Doug McSorley out of MCC, who is very, very organized, very adept at social media and presentation, and is a very, very good recruiter and lacrosse coach, and so I was excited to hire him. We brought on Rick Shunke, was the former head coach at Hilbert. Great hire for me. He was instrumental in building the Hilbert program over the last 7-8 years from its infancy, so he knows how to build a program. You know, then you're here, and all of a sudden it's January, February, and we start going through a process of, well, you know, is there a potential that we can get into a conference? You know, and what's that application process? And thankful and grateful to obviously the administration and Tim Kenny to, you know, start to structure that as we're bringing these young lads on, is to really try to understand, you know, what their goals and their dreams are and what their drive is. And we really wanted to focus on student athletes that have some pretty high-end goals. It was understanding, you know, what their character was, what are they trying to accomplish, and then quite honestly, really what drives them to actually believe that they can do something amazing here at St. Bonaventure, because that's the whole focus. The whole focus is to talk about winning national championships, and it's my responsibility and our coaching staff to bring in those student athletes that can help us accomplish that task. But as we went through the recruiting process, you know, we've ended up now finding 35 young men that are willing to take this challenge on straight away, and which is super exciting. And I was happy to actually through social media let them know that we actually have a home in the MAAC conference, which I'm very, very familiar with, and I'm grateful for that. It's a phenomenal conference, phenomenal coaches, athletes, and the evolution of the MAAC conference over the last 19 years to where it is now has been tremendous. And I you know, forward looking, I see it continuing to grow, and so it's super exciting to actually have a home, because now we have an opportunity to qualify for a conference championship, and straight away not play an independent schedule, but maybe have a crack at getting to an NCAA automatic qualifier. I've always had the same belief of what it takes to win a national championship, but you also still got to look yourself in the mirror and go, well, you know, over these 19 years, did you do it right? And how can you continue to get better? And so for me, that was probably the most rewarding thing for myself. And now being away from it for a year, you know, now we're, you know, almost, you know, 2 months and a week away. Like, now we're starting to get chomping at the bit, because, you know, we got our first class, you know, matriculating here on the St. Bonaventure campus, and that's going to be super exciting.